Good morning and welcome to the Weekend Wellness Hour show. Today we are going to be talking about a fun topic, bioenergetic cooking, with a new friend of mine, Kimberly Knox, who comes to us from Florida. So Kimberly has a wealth of expertise in many different topics. So I'm going to dive into a little bit about it and then she'll share some more. So Kimberly is a certified integrative health and hormone coach, an organic bioenergetic chef and speaker, and she has created something called a bioenergetic cooking method, which revolutionizes the cooking experience to give you high energy and to give you more energy for your life. So Kimberly, she started in a financial and marketing fields and she had careers there, and she switched at age 51, pursuing other forms of education and going on this health journey, even though she's been in natural health and traditional healing methods for over 25 years. She received her coaching certification at the world-renowned Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York City and some other advanced certifications in hormone health. So I just want to welcome, there's much more to tell about you, Kimberly, but I want to give you a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I want to look festive for you, and I wanted to showcase the real epitome of what my bioenergetic cooking method represents, and that is clean, fresh from the ground, locally harvested by farmers food right here, filled with color, which represents antioxidants, and we can get more into that. So yes, I'm really thrilled to talk to you about this method and how it all started. And then I'm going to demo two of my favorite recipes. One is a favorite comfort food. It's comfort without the crash. And then a signature recipe that I did at the Global Wellness Day back June 2 years ago. So thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. It all looks absolutely amazing. And I know people are going to be interested in seeing what you're going to share with us and how to boost our energy. So Kimberly and I met through a mutual friend, and Suzanne has been on the show as well, talking about colon health. And Kimberly just has this exuberant energy, as does Suzanne, which makes me always interested. People who have a lot of energy, who look good, who feel good, I'm always curious what they do with their health, what they do with their wellness, and how do we actually get there? Now, Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Because there was a point in your life where you didn't have all this energy, you weren't as vivacious, right?
Right. So let me take you back. Honestly, when Wayne Dyer talks about the shift, I had that shift moment. But this takes me way back to my roots. I grew up in Vermont. Very lucky to grow up in such a a vibrant natural type of environment. We had a massive garden, which I loved. I didn't always like weeding it, but we were very lucky and fortunate to be able to take a carrot out of the ground, rinse it off, and know exactly what that nutrient quality tastes like. So I already had a palate for rich variety of vegetables, fruits from our trees. We had a pear tree, we had apple trees, an orchard next door. So that was ingrained in me. As I was a young athlete all the way through college, and there was some confusion over food, like most people in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now that's when big food started creating, a lot of the convenience type foods that we see today and the chemicals that go with them. But there was a whole fad about fat. So I had a lot of confusion around food. I did suffer from eating disorders. You can call it disordered eating. We were not educated. So I didn't have it all together, even though I had parts together and I was always active. So my healing crisis really started when I found myself sitting at my desk a lot, right in front of a modem, which I didn't understand at the time how that was affecting me. But primarily I was nutrient deficient. I did not have good digestion. I was falling asleep at the wheel in the afternoon around 4. So I had cortisol swings. I had cravings for sugar. I was not sleeping that well. And I probably didn't have as glowing skin and bright eyes. So, but that whole, my background actually started in '93. I had the pleasure of getting involved in my first sales experience because I I saw myself in outside sales. I just wanted to have more freedom, be outside more. So I kind of made those shifts in my career that matched my vision of what I felt more confident and healthy doing. But during that time, my first sales position was with a line of Equinox products, and the owner and founder actually went through a healing crisis himself, went to Mexico to get detox from environmental detoxification, and that was just foreign to me. And many people in the early 90s probably weren't even thinking that, especially I grew up in the Northeast, and it was pretty much allopathic medicine and thought process about food and health. So getting that grounding, and then also going to natural doctors, which I consider my more primary doctors. That would be the acupuncture physician. I considered that my earliest connection to my body, how I was doing. I was fascinated by just the connection between how I was doing my organs, my energy flow. So this was as early as 96. And I didn't really have my healing crisis until 2008.
Okay.
So you see, I thought I was doing things right, but I wasn't doing everything right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And so at that time, you were in the financial areas and sales and marketing?
I was in sales and marketing. I owned my own promotional products company. It was fantastic. I loved it, except for I didn't love sitting at my desk. I visualized myself sitting in the kitchen. So at that same time, timing is everything, but my girlfriend, who's very vibrant and healthy today, she came down with breast cancer. She and I both participated in an online forum with over 30 practitioners from around the world talking about health in ways that we had never really been introduced to, or not to that depth. So one of the things that I got from that, and this was my starting point, it was all about creating a alkaline system within the body. And the easiest way to do that is to get rid of the things that are acid forming, such as dairy products, meat, all the processed foods, sugar, alcohol, and then introduce a green smoothie. So that was my entree to the green smoothie now that I call my green warrior, that I introduce to all my clients and to the participants in my Creed program as their first entree to a gentle detoxification and fortification of the liver. So seriously, in 5 days after doing that, not only did I feel different, people in my chamber asked me if I was working out, my skin was glowing, my eyes, and I felt better.
Yeah. Yeah. So was this kind of a turning point for you to switch out of the sales and marketing? Like this, was this kind of this passion that got lit up under you?
Yes. So I had to try to figure out how to do that. And everything starts in the brain. So I started visualizing myself doing smoothie demos, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. But, I met a very pivotal relationship, and I ended up going back to school. I researched and came across the high quality that the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York City has. It was founded by Dr. Joshua Rosenthal, who back in the day used to teach macrobiotic cooking in New York City. And Dr. Andrew Weil kind of teamed up with him, and he's the father of integrative medicine. So there was all this history there, and some of the best lecturers and lecturing physicians just took my knowledge that I had, because I was always kind of studying health in little ways, to the next level. And I was just so impassioned. I did not sell my franchise until just 2.5 years ago. So that was the, that lit the fire.
That's amazing. So then you became a health coach after getting that certification, right?
Yeah, so technically, being a health coach is what you get a health coaching certificate. I saw the problems with hormone health, that hormones affect everybody, especially with all of the foods that we have today. And one of the main reasons not to eat all the processed foods with the chemicals and additives, preservatives, they really affect our hormone system. You hear it as endocrine system. When your hormones are out, nothing feels right, nothing works right. And the thing with energy, the energy robbers that we have out there, it is a multi-billion dollar industry to get energy in the body, particularly coffee, 5-hour energy drinks. All the other energy drinks would have just escalated, taxing out our adrenals, giving us fake energy, and then just messing up the whole hormone cycle. It goes deeper than that, but I saw a lot, so I wanted to get into that further.
Yeah. So what is necessarily the one reason people come to you? I imagine they don't always recognize it as hormones, but why do people come to you? What do they say? What do they feel?
So some has been hormones, but the number one reason is their lack of energy.
Okay.
I literally had a lady in tears. She had no energy, and she definitely needed to lose weight. She knew she did, but she could barely get off the couch. So when I'm doing my Creed 5-day program, we do talk about this in the initial part, and it is to get that energy. You want to wake up with energy, not be dependent on a coffee every morning as a ritual to stimulate your adrenal hormones. And you want to wake up vibrant. When you feel vibrant, you feel more productive, right?
Yep.
You feel like you're maybe more attractive. Your mind is sharper. You can get more done. It is what people want. That is why it's $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
So we have to create it within, because real energy starts in the cell, is within the cell. Also the liver, by the way, because the liver stores the majority of the ATP, which is the precursor to energy, and also stored glycogen, which is energy stores. So I do educate a lot on the liver, which is a missed organ for many people.
It is. And so kind of alongside that, what diseases are you seeing crop up among your clients and people who just come to you for advice?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, some people wait too long. I've had several people come to me with cancer, liver cancer, breast cancer, lymphoma, and right away they get a great results. Even via Zoom calls. I had a lady with breast cancer. She changed her diet completely within 1 month. She had a lot of support. She started walking. She lost 35 pounds. She started feeling much better. I think that she actually chose not to go a traditional route. Last time I checked in, she was doing well. My lymphoma patient wanted to, get into her 70s with a lot of vibrancy. She also lost over 30 pounds, and she's keeping up with the green smoothies, and she has a whole new appreciation for food. But the biggest disease out there today is obesity. It overranked heart disease in 2016. Now, the reason it overranked it is I have a friend who's an OD, and 2 years ago, she did a talk, and we were talking about fatty liver. She did a talk on liver as so important for women and heart disease. So it goes back to fatty liver, obesity, and high sugar and inflammation markers. All of those go together. It's metabolic syndrome, if you want to look at it like that. But that's what I see, addiction to sugar.
So you've seen all these issues with people, these diseases that are coming up. Is that kind of what led you into focusing more on cooking as making the biggest impact?
So actually that came before. I've been cooking since I was 3. My real passion was always being in the kitchen. And I always felt more relaxed when I was working at home, being in the kitchen. And I was a little upset that I wasn't able to be there more. Because as running a small franchise, I'd be out on the street selling. I'd come back, I'd prep my paperwork, I'd do my paperwork, I'd be doing things on the weekends. But people would love to come to my home for food and to eat. And so back then, even though I wasn't cooking exactly, my food already vibrated with a certain amount of energy. And I went to a couple spiritual advisors because I was in this quandary, and they said to me, Kimberly, people need help with health. We do not have a healthcare system, and food is at the crux of it. And as I've gone over the last 3.5 years, actually 4 years since I went to school, it is absolutely the number one issue doctors have. They cannot keep up with people when they go home and they just eat poorly. No drug can help them. So they're losing the race.
Yeah. I mean, we're really made up of the nutrients we put in our bodies. So if we want to change how we feel, I always mention it's what you put in, how you breathe, how much you sleep. Those are so critical. And I'm glad we're talking about food and cooking, and especially energy levels related to cooking. 'Cause that's so important. We don't really think of that. I mean, when we're down, we may go for sweets to, boost us up, or if you've done something endurance wise, then you need food, and that's when you recognize it. But even when you just go through a normal day where maybe you're not pushing yourself to the limits, what you put in your body is still so critical.
It's
So,
absolutely the number one thing that influences your health. And Dr. Mark Hyman is doing an amazing job talking about that. I really loved his influence. He took my inspiration, my passion really to the next level. The work that he's doing with Eat Fat, Get Thin, shifting our thoughts around fats and the liver and cholesterol, all of that, totally shifted that. And also his work on food, what the heck to eat, and the work on epigenetics. So epigenetics started the terminology, food is information, because it provides information to our DNA. And it is the essence of our blood, and blood builds new cells. So if we want new cells, and our body is constantly regenerating, if we want to feel and look better, we have to regenerate with healthy cells. We have to allow the bad cells to die off. There's many ways to do that, including intermittent fasting and techniques that I talk about that improve your longevity. But that is where the essence of your new cells come from, your blood. And so it is the food quality. And once we choose a quality of food, they don't crave anymore because they're completely nourished.
Yep.
Most people are overfed and starving.
Yes, absolutely. And I even went through this for a period. I was, all veggies, plants, but I had the same thing every day. I didn't have the variety. And I know that's a big factor. And I was gaining weight. I felt lethargic. And it was because I didn't change up the vegetables. Now I have like 30 different vegetables, spices, whatever, within a couple days. And it's like, I feel satiated, dropped weight like very easily. And it's because I feel satiated because I have the whole nutrient spectrum. So I completely understand what you're saying. And I'm so glad that you are sharing this and talking about it.
Yeah, so with bioenergetic cooking, just one aspect of that, it's the exchange of energy. Food is one component. Oxygen is another component. We'll talk about that with fall health that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. We've got water is a massive energetic component. We've got 75 people chronically dehydrated. Seriously, if all you drank was water, got rid of every sugar drink and alcohol for 1 month, you would feel immensely better.
Yes.
And so water and air, water, food, and then calming stuff. But those are energy exchanges, and so important. Our bodies can get used to one form of things. So we do have to switch it up.
Okay, so let's dive into more about your bioenergetic cooking. How did that all start? Kind of dive into that. Let's hear this amazing story.
Yeah. So I actually was preparing myself before I met a key person. Mm-hmm. And this is the way the universe works. It's so absolutely brilliant. So I met the founder and CEO of Nest Health, Harry Massey. And in fact, I did my first podcast in January of 2018 on the topic. We visualized this. I met him and we were walking on the beach actually, and we say, how can we work together? And what we wanted to do was create recipes and food that matched with the different integrators. So their company actually has a body field scan. I had been doing biomeridian testing since '96, German technology. It tests your energy fields. It goes a little bit beyond the traditional meridians of Chinese medicine. So the bioenergetic cooking method that I've done, there's 12 sections. I've taken 12 major meridians of the body, connected them to the healing food information, and created recipes for that. So that was the initiation. I started cooking and trying out all my recipes on their practitioners that came in from all around the world. And the result was always the same when I interviewed them. They felt amazing. They couldn't stop eating. They didn't feel a slump. They felt nourished all day. They weren't hungry at night. So I was able to test these for 2 years. The hardest thing was writing up the recipes. The easiest thing for me is creating.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So that's
that
wonderful.
was the genesis.
That was the beginning of it. Okay. So now can you go through those steps in a little bit more detail that you mentioned just a little bit ago about water and food? Can you kind of go through those a little bit more just so we have them kind of in our brain a little bit better?
Well, hydration, of course, we all hear, hey, you got to drink more water. Well, it has to be clean water, but yes, water.
Okay.
So what water does to the body is so many different things. One of the biggest things it does, we want our cells, as we age especially, we need vibrant cells. It's all about cellular health. If you don't have cellular health, you have dying, aging body. So we want cell health. Water actually delivers nutrients and information to the cell. Without water, it doesn't work. Functions rely on this. So we need hydration in the body for every function that happens, proper elimination, proper brain health. The whole cellular communication that's going on and delivering that communication. Water is the essence. It's more than 90% of our body. So yeah, we need it a lot.
Yes.
And air.
Yes.
You're a breathwork specialist. We are in fall season. If you want to talk a little bit about the fall season, I can jump into that because it's all about the lungs and the cardiorespiratory process. It is an energetic process of us breathing in O2, oxygen. That's why they say, indoor air quality can be low. Oxygen probably very low. Open up your windows, get air filtration. Go to the beach, get outside, breathe in the fresh air. As the seasons change, in my Creed program, I do a program for each season. During each season, I talk about how the body stays in a natural flow with the energy. Its energy is there. You can't see it. It's called quantum physics. It's there. It's just like it's like gravity. So it exists. And so during the fall, fall rules the lung and the colon. So it's about breathing in completion. It's the harvest time. It's when you bring everything you've created to the market and you're shining. It's also cooler days. It's also shorter days. It's getting darker. So we need to get outside. It's not as hot and humid. Breathe in the fresh air. Engage the lungs. There's a lot of lung and heart opening exercises for yoga that breathe, and when you sit up straight, the diaphragm, you can actually breathe. But I work with this with ladies who are pregnant, to get them breathing. So it's that exchange of oxygen, breathing in O2 and breathing out CO2, which is opposite of our plant life. That's why indoor plants will suck in your CO2 and give you more oxygen. That's great. That's an energy exchange. That is representative of the time of the fall harvest. Now, the colon also is an organ that is of this season as well, because we're shifting into releasing what no longer serves us and then moving forward with things that do. So that is elimination. So it is a natural detox time, just like the spring. However, we need to detox it every season and continually because of our environment today. But so elimination, we're taking in toxins all through, and the liver's filtering all of those. Another reason the liver is so important. And our elimination comes through our skin, through sweating, skin brushing, hot yoga. I have a therasage, far infrared tent, and proper colon elimination, making sure you're getting proper fiber. So some of the food choices of fall deal with fiber. And so another elimination, of course, is breathing. So the wearing of masks right now, we have to be so careful to make sure we're breathing fresh air when we can. Because breathing, it is a reduction of the energy that goes on between the heart, is feeding the heart and the rest of the body, the proper circulation throughout the body. So people that had COVID really bad and it attacked their lung cells, because that's what it attacked. So you have to keep your lungs strong. That's why this season's great. They actually did not have good circulation. Some people lost fingers, toes, things like that. So circulation.
Yeah, and it's nice that we can go outdoors with and we can be away from people and get fresh air in without a mask. So, you can go in your backyard, your front yard. There are many places we can still go. So we can spend some time getting good airflow, getting our breathing, in a regulated, rhythmic, however it helps you. If you want it to ramp you up or calm you down, there's so many different types and forms of it.
Yeah. So something else with fall health. Well, I mean, I'm showing a lot of food for fall health, and in fact, the one of the recipes I'm making is a fall health. But what else did I want to say about fall health? Anything? It's also a time of self-care. Yeah. And increasing that, time of self and inner value. So what else did I want to say? Oh, the slower cook and the warming foods as well. But it is a time of self-care, because we're getting into our inner self. What served us? What have we celebrated? And what should we let go of? And that is inner work.
And it's true. And it's interesting how I love how you have all these themes that go around the fall season, and how we shift, and we have seasons for a reason. So I'm curious, when you're talking about seasonal health, and you don't have to go into detail, but I'm just curious, is there a winter season that goes along with food, spring, and then summer as well? You just kind of covered fall. I'm just curious if there's other seasons have different things you focus on as well.
Absolutely. So when I created my CREAT program, I was committed to placing those into the education that I gave. I started in late summer. We actually have a late summer season that runs mid-August through the fall equinox. Mm-hmm. So that time rules spleen and stomach. There's many reasons for that. So it's about staying in flow. When we're in flow, we're more reverent of our body process. We're also more aware. And when the reason it's spleen and stomach is because, the spleen is affected by the humidity. It's water exchange in the body. So there's so many reasons then. So once we get to the winter solstice, so we're entering into the kidney season, bladder. And so the things change. Now I cover this in my bioenergetic cooking method and book. So it's part of those 12 processes. I mentioned some of this. So a person, it's not going to be a textbook on Ayurvedic medicine or traditional Chinese. It's a blend, taking techniques from that so that we're flowing, because we always have to flow with nature. After winter comes spring. Spring is a huge pop of energy. In fact, COVID outbreak happened at the spring season last year, right after the spring equinox. That's when we were all shut in. Now, people will have healing crises in their body at the spring season shift if they have not been cleaned during the winter. It's a shift. Doctors see it all the time. And it's staying in that flow. It's another natural time. It rules liver and gallbladder. So liver being your number one filtering organ needs to be cleaned up during that time. But truthfully, it needs to be cleaned up all the time. But that is the season of that. Now, your new starts during the spring. So there's different food that relates to each of those seasons and organs. And that's the genesis behind my book. It's just very simple, because we are not a diet. People rely on diet. This is not a diet. It is a method of empowering you over your health and connecting you to your body. Yeah. So diets are stuff from the outside that we think are going to change us. Oh, a new diet. No, they're not. Because then you just go right back. You have no understanding of the stuff that's causing, and you're not connected to your body listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you have a cookbook coming out soon, right? Is that correct? And so can you tell us about it? What excites you about it? Why did you create it?
Well, I mentioned a couple things that really excite me, and I'll go into those. It's the Bioenergetic Cooking Method book. The name of it is not clear yet. Okay. We're finishing the design phase. I have the cover photo, but these little details are coming. But it is going to highlight the 12 energetic areas, healing and energy that is going to empower you for life. Because bio stands for living, and energetic stands for vitality. So it's living with vitality, and that's what we all want. And it's so simple. There's nothing that the food companies make that you should eat. Absolutely zero. zero ads on the TV that you see, zero that you should eat. We just need simple food. And, you know, after the war, people started growing. Now people, because of COVID, they're looking at growing some of their own veggies because we got stuck inside, and maybe they want some of that. But this is all we need. Our body needs just very simple things. So I'm very excited about the reverence. And when people have looked over this or tried my recipes, they were so excited about the healing power of the ingredients. We'll talk a little bit about cauliflower, dandelion greens, and basil when I show you some recipes. It is that knowledge that gives a person more interest. When a client gets my recipe for the Green Warrior, they get the entire ingredient list and why those things are going in there. You don't need 20 smoothie recipes. You need a few very intentional recipes.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is, of course, empowerment, health empowerment. And the cookbook Genesis also was made to support the practitioners of Nest Health. And as more people that are not practitioners, but they just are able to scan their body, they may get some information because we're always changing. We're a bioenergetic flow. We're constantly communicating with our environment. And your scan is going to show you where your body is energetically requesting information. This is outside of the biochemical type of stuff that food gives nutrients. There's an energetic type of quality as well. So when we see that potentially that flow for liver, gallbladder, or small intestine or heart is troubled by a scan, we can then read a little bit about it because I have a little write-up in the section. And then we can look at food and recipes that provide some nutrient information. Bam! It's like an entire mind shift when it comes to food.
Absolutely. So do you want to give us a demonstration and kind of talk to us through what you have there and where you got it?
Yeah, so the first one I'm going to show you, which I'm really excited about, well, first of all, look at this. Now,
amazing.
Come on, this is just amazing. Like this this is great for a photo of the cookbook right here. But so most of this came from Warden Farms. They were a local farmer here, just south of Sarasota. Both of them are PhDs in organic farming. We are so lucky here. I have organic cabbage and red cabbage. Red cabbage is loaded with anthocyanins. It is a very strong antioxidant. Excellent antioxidants help to reduce oxidative stress and protect our cells. Same antioxidants you're going to find in blueberries and blackberries, and the purple squashes and the purple sweet potatoes. These are radishes. These are baby tomatoes. Now, there is a dirty dozen that you can Google. It is the dirtiest pesticide-laden food that you must always get organic. Although I do suggest these are little tomatoes. They're on the dirty dozen list. These are Brussels sprouts. This is cauliflower. Now the foods of fall, white foods are made to support the lungs. White beans, pears, cauliflower, daikon radish, parsnips. Those are some examples. Even potatoes. So what I am going to be doing another recipe with cauliflower because so many people have sugar issues, metabolic issues. They've got to cut down on sugar conversion. So potatoes don't support those goals. What else is in here? The zucchini skins are loaded with zeaxanthin and lutein, excellent for eye and macular degeneration prevention. These are Swiss chard, which is so easy to saute in coconut oil with a little bit of sauteed, seared pineapple, delicious with some eggs, grass-fed eggs. These are red onions. So you see how gorgeous that is. Also, these are right from the farmer's market too. This is ginger and turmeric. In my program, I show people how to make an organic golden milk. Now, if you buy a golden milk or chai latte at a conventional place, you're going to get upward of 40 to 50 grams of sugar per cup. So, yeah, and that is so easy to make. So what I already have for you right here, these are zucchini noodles, and they're so much fun. I cooked with a family, and the youngest was a 4-year-old, and I have a noodle maker that's really easy and safe that kids can even use. Now, they're very long, so what I do first I did them last night and I just kept them in the fridge. I just give them a cut through. So I did this recipe at the Westin for the Global Wellness Day last year. Just to show people how fresh and incredible the flavor is from simple. I made a dandelion green moringa pesto. I froze this. I've already tasted it this morning. It freezes so well. It's been frozen for a month and it tastes like it was just made. So when I get a lot of basil and dandelion, I make enough and I freeze some because I use this on top of a gluten-free toast under avocado. So it's a souped up avocado toast. I put it with eggs. I put it over alternative pasta. So I'm just gonna put a couple scoops on here. Now what's in this pesto that makes it so good? Dandelion greens, they were my nemesis growing up. We had a lawn mowing business and the dandelions would come and roll the grass, but dandelions have more iron and protein than spinach. They have calcium. They're a superpower green. That's why my green smoothie doesn't just have spinach. It has dandelion greens, spinach, watercress, kale. It's got a variety of greens, so you're picking up the highest nutrients. So the liver loves bitter greens. And this has also garlic, which is great for the liver as well. It has lemon. Another liver, it actually simulates stagnant bile. You've got so many gallbladder issues because of bad quality food, sluggish liver, and sluggish bile. So all you have to do with this recipe is toss the pesto into the noodles and you serve it, and it actually kind of cooks the noodles on its own because of the acid. And it's super, super easy. Just gonna toss it around. And I don't salt my food. You don't need to. The thing when you talk about tastes of poor quality food from chain restaurants and processed, what you're getting is chemical. You're getting loads of chemicals that chemists came up with to help stimulate our brain, neurotransmitters, to give us the thought that it's actually good. You're getting sugar and you're getting salt. And too much salt robs your body of potassium, which is a nutrient we need over 4,000 units a day of. And it's the #1 problem for cardiac arrhythmia. So that is why the high blood pressure, we do need salt. The kidneys need some salt. But if you're gonna salt, take a little tiny salt into your water. That's where you need the salt. I use pine nuts in here. If you're allergic to pine nuts, you can use walnuts. So now you're getting great omega-3s and brain food. Yeah. This is so fragrant. I do not use any Parmesan. I cook with no dairy. I show people how easy it is to be gluten-free and dairy-free. It causes inflammation. I'm allergic to the casein protein. A lot of people are. The problem with inflammation is below the threshold of pain. People don't feel it. They don't assume they have a problem, but it's there. So this is just absolutely delicious. If you can see this, it's so fragrant. It's the fragrance that they were in line. There was a whole stack, and the comments were there. This is the most amazing thing I've had all day. Nothing at the hotel tasted this good. It's just real food. And literally, this pesto takes no more than 10 minutes. You do not have to be a chef. I'm going to show you this. What I love, you need to have a food processor. You need to have a high quality blender, and you need to have a juicer. And the reason is you throw stuff in here, you press go, you swoosh it around, and it's done.
It's quick, very quick.
Yeah. So we'll put this to the side.
Okay.
So what we can add to this is I'm adding up some of these chopped, beautiful little tiny tomatoes. Absolutely. I do not do a lot of nightshade. Nightshades can have lectins, or they can have anti-nutrient properties that can kind of compromise if a person has leaky gut and things like that. I also do a lot of gut issues. So toss this together. It looks gorgeous. So now you've got a little pop of bread in here.
Very festive.
So the antioxidant in tomatoes here, you're actually going to get more of the same antioxidant in watermelon. So it has the same exact there. So let's look at this. Now, this is just a simple 7-cup food processor. You can see my bowl over here. Now I keep this on my counter just so you see. This is filled with squashes. I've got spaghetti squash, acorn squash, butternut squash, onions, sweet potatoes. They're visible. When they're visible, it gives you creative thought. It makes you think about what to do. And this is actually a pumpkin. This is a Florida pumpkin, a Seminole pumpkin. It's beautiful. Pomegranates are huge at this time of year. I show many videos on how to get those open. So what we're gonna make now is a mashed cauliflower. There's so many keto people out there. When I deal with them, I say you don't have to be on a keto diet. You can go keto by understanding why and how, and then you can apply the principles. Yeah. And because there's some people that should not be eating certain types of meat. It is acid forming in the body, or some of the oils. So you have to just understand what they're doing and why. So all this is cauliflower is very high in choline. It is a nutrient that crosses the blood-brain barrier. So it can enter into that channel. It feeds the brain. It looks like the brain. Here it is, right?
Yep, does, sure does.
And so food that looks like the brain, even walnuts, they feed the brain. Yep. Choline is absolutely incredible. And you're getting your carb conversion here, an entire head of a cauliflower is about 35 grams of carbs. Minus out all the fiber, you've got a sugar conversion of barely 2. Whereas a cup of potatoes, mashed potatoes, depending on what you're putting in there, inflammatory dairy, conventional dairy, other stuff. Now children might need that extra energy, but adults don't. It is the highest converting and that's why people love it. It's a comfort food. It converts to sugar. It's creamy. So to make this creamy, what I add is a little bit of Japanese yam, and we're just adding it to the food processor. And all I did was steam. I just steamed the cauliflower heads and the peeled yam for about 20 minutes, just until it's fork tender. Very easy, very simple. No chef skills required for my recipes. So easy. Yes. Yeah. So what I do is I start just by giving it a whirl. And you see it starting to work. We're going to break it down. And then you need some of these around. Yep. And you want to scoop it around. So now you're asking about what do you use instead of milk if you use milk? Well, you don't have to. But I do keep coconut cream around. Now I put coconut cream in my soups. It gives you extra energy, brain energy. Yep. So the medium chain fats in here are easier on the liver, and they also feed the brain. The brain needs them. I'm going to pour out some of the juicy part. I'm going to put in a little bit of the cream, and I'm not using much. You don't even have to use this, but it will up the creaminess, and it will up the amount of energy that goes in. And then, or you can use a little bit of, this is garlic infused olive oil. Oh, nice. So I did roast a garlic head in here. I'll show you how to do it. It'll be very hot. So you just take an entire garlic head, you wrap it in parchment paper, pour a little bit of olive oil in it, wrap it in foil because I don't use foil to touch any food. And then you roast it until it's done, and you squeeze the bulbs in there. So this has got to cool a bit. I wasn't able to take it out when we were chatting. You see, it's like a little pouch, and it smells amazing. So instead of having garlic that's fresh topped and really pungent, it's cooked up a little bit. So let's give this a whirl. And it's so creamy. I have so many people that just love this recipe because it helps them to get that comfort that they desire from potatoes without the high sugar content. It's already getting nice and fluffy. Now, cauliflower is sweet on its own. The real taste of this is already ready. So literally, you don't have to do anything else to it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm a little jealous over here in Arizona. I can't get to Florida fast enough.
The only thing that you're going to be adding to this is some of the garlic, like you just see how it's all roasted here. Yeah. And what I do is once it's cooled, You just squeeze out a few of the cloves and throw them in.
Wonderful.
And the way that I would finish this up is just with a little bit of chopped up rosemary, fresh. So rosemary has an oil that stimulates the brain into happiness. So our herbs is what makes the food experience so calming and perfect for the body. It is how the body prepares to eat. Cooking is the most relaxing thing you can do. I teach confidence.
Yeah.
People get so used to thinking they need a recipe. I want them to be just confident in scratch. You can just eat everything out of here raw, but you can't really screw up. And just to be confident in the kitchen, but it engages your brain, it relaxes our body, it prepares our digestion system to receive the food. That is one of the components of bioenergetic cooking, is the environment. A clean, organized kitchen with calming music, a calm body, and then the intention that goes into that as you eat, and you're eating the food, you're not eating mindlessly. You're eating food, you go, oh, this food is good for my liver. I had no idea. And that intention is built into that. And then choosing food of high quality, and then considering the source of where it comes from.
And that's all fascinating. Sorry, a little something in my throat.
No problem.
But it's absolutely amazing. And so you don't even put any salt or anything else in there, right?
You can add a little bit, but I don't, because I like the real flavor. Once your palate shifts, salt tastes so salty, you don't want it. Once your palate shifts, sugar is so sweet. I have so many recipes that are going to be a bonus section in my book. It's called Delicious Never Deprived, because I used to like to make sweets, and I probably ate too many sweets like everyone, because sugar creates dopamine and serotonin. We need this stuff. And makes us feel good, but it also creates so many problems in the body. So I've created recipes that get away from that. By hugging a jar, my chocolate avocado mousse is just like this. In 10 minutes, you've got a happy hormone producing chocolate delicious treat that's creamy and delicious and feeds your body instead of gunks it up and slows it down.
Yeah, and that's absolutely amazing, because people don't realize so many of the flavors that we have grown accustomed to, we can recreate using plants. And it doesn't have to be chemicals that do it. It's literally, like you said, your chocolate mousse. You can do that with just real whole foods and just blend things together. And it creates this concoction that is phenomenal. And once you get away from the chemicals, I know from experience, I don't want to go back.
No,
I see something and it's like,
Yeah, your body that's your body's wisdom. And we cannot hear the wisdom until we clean it up. And that means getting rid of the junk food, the sugar, too much alcohol, too much caffeine. So because the body is constantly like this, we cannot hear it. When we can hear it, then we can go. So my clients, they work their palate down. And that's why it's so important to get children's palates adjusted early on. Some children, you've got 3-year-olds with type 2 diabetes. That's shame on the parents.
Yeah.
Type 2 diabetes is not a disease. It's a disease of lifestyle. It's a disease of eating. So 90% of diseases are preventable. It's based on what we're doing every day, diet and lifestyle. So I just have such a passion for sharing this. I am never deprived, ever. And, the green smoothie got my ex-boyfriend's sugar palate under control in 5 days. So it can. People will gently wean it down. So I've weaned down my recipe of the chocolate avocado mousse, which I use just natural dates as a sweet. I don't recommend monk fruit. A lot of it is cut with some xylitol. I don't recommend stevia, which is it's actually gross. I don't even like the taste of stevia, unless a person has such bad, diabetic type of response. But natural dates, a little bit of maple syrup, raw honey. I never bake with raw honey. Raw coconut sugar. But all of my recipes cut the sugar way down, and you don't miss it. It's amazing.
No, when you have the other flavors, you don't need the sugar. And literally your taste buds shift. And I know there are times like if you're going from a high sugar diet, high dairy diet, there is that transition where your body's, a little bit of resistance, a little bit of shifting. But then once you get where your body's not craving all those old chemically laden foods, your energy level increases enormously. And you literally get up and you're like, where did all this energy come from?
Yeah, and it starts in the gut. A lot of our cravings come from here. So when we're starving out the bad bugs that are causing those cravings, is a die-off process. That die-off process is like having the flu and a low level. So I have to help people go through slowly. We have to up the antioxidants. Once they can get it cleaned out, they don't have cravings anymore because they're fed. And then we have to constantly build our gut. It's a whole process. That's why I deal with people one-on-one, but my 5-day program really helps give them confidence and teaches them a lot of skills and gives them education. And the book, I'm loving it because it's going to be a great way for them to have a resource to get excited about certain food. And there's going to be a glossary in the back that has turmeric and ginger and garlic, and they'll talk about what they kind of do in the body in general terms, and just what we can get from just real food.
That's wonderful. So how can people learn about your 5-day program, the new cookbook coming out? Where can they get information?
Fantastic, and thank you for asking, because actually my 5-day program right now is on Black Friday through Cyber Monday special. And so they can find that on my website. It's under services. So that's in the kitchen with kk.com/services. Right on my homepage is a lot too. And also I'm very active on Instagram. I'm KK's Fit Kitchen. That's KKS Fit FIT Kitchen. KK's Fit Kitchen. And also on my Facebook page under my name, Kimberly Knox and KK's Fit Kitchen. I love that, Instagram puts things there. So that's where it is. And the information about the book will be coming out on those different medias. Once we have it all laid out, it's going to be gorgeous. I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you on. You shared with us some great recipes, some great tidbits, so much information today. And I hope all the viewers take advantage of getting in contact with you so that they can get your cookbook and kind of shift the way they cook to improve their energy.
Yeah, I wanted to give a gift also to anyone that calls in and likes confidence. I do Zoom confidence cooking. So either shipping a recipe you have or taking one of mine and showing you how to do it and taking $50 off any of my cooking packages. Very easy. It's so much fun to get confidence in the kitchen because it's super easy.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You can eat what you create. And this garlic and rosemary is out of this world. I'm telling you, it's so good.
That's wonderful. We really appreciate the gift, the coming on, the demonstrations. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on, Amy. And thanks everyone for watching.
Wonderful. Thank you all for joining us today for the Weekend Wellness Hour show. We will be back next week. Have a great week and take some of these tips, apply them over the week because it just helps you that much more. Take care all. Bye.